Hello everyone, it's Jennifer and thank you for joining me today. I am going to break out this shell collection again. I did make a bracelet using some of the shells along with, I used some nylon thread, and then I also used some tiara cast spacers just to fold in between for this gorgeous little, it's just an adjustable little bracelet that you can put on and adjust however you wish. And you just have a nice little beachy, beachy bracelet. And I love it. It's amazing. I love these beads, these shells, and this whole collection. Let me show you the whole collection again. And this is from BB Craft. And if you haven't checked out their website, do go check out their website. I'm going to put a link in the description below, but this is, and I'll put also links to what I'm going to be using, this little variety pack here. And this is what we used for the bracelet. And then I also made a little pendant using one of these shells. And so we'll go ahead and put that on a necklace at some point. But so many different shapes and sizes. And so these are gorgeous. Look how large those are. And the hole is drilled here. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some of these little ones and I'm gonna go ahead and string them up with some beading wire. And I'm not sure what all color, because I think some of the colors, I probably mixed some of the colors around. And actually these are shiny. This is shiny. And let's go ahead and get these mixed in because I'm kind of looking for, and I probably broke some, I broke this one probably when I was, oh no, that's just a piece. When I was closing the box. But as you can see, there's lots of different shapes and colors. And I am going to be using this little seed bead pack here, these 3 colors. I'm going to blend in some of this gorgeous green and this nice beige with some white. And then I am just going to string up some. Now these darker colors like these here, those are going to go off to the side because that's going to be their own little project. And so I am just going to piece through and see what colors and which shapes will look really good with this. And I'm thinking that's kind of, oh, that is, look how pretty that is. And some of them are going to go by themselves. And so just when you get your pack, you could just separate them out by their colors. Like I said, they're all different and no 2 shells are alike. But what I'm going to use is I'm going to string on, I have some 19 strand, and then I have some 2x2 crimp tubes, as well as I have a lobster clasp. And then this ring that I have here is actually a, I think you're a little crooked. Let me get you straightened out here. There. This is a closed jump ring, and the reason why I attached it to the lobster clasp is because then I know that that's the one that is closed. And I have an open jump ring, and I have a couple of wire guardians that I'm going to use. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then as I go along, I am going to kind of push certain ones off to the side, and I'm going to use certain ones. There's no rhyme or reason as to what I'm picking and why I'm picking, but we're just gonna kind of go a little bit sort of random. Okay, I'm gonna bring in a couple of seed beads. I'm gonna bring a 6/0 in, and I'm gonna bring in an 11/0. I didn't have this is a 6/0. I didn't have an 8/0 in this type of color that I was looking for, but then I'm thinking that this will keep the focus on the shells with just a little hint of the 6/0. So what I was going to do was do, I don't know, maybe like 10 or 12 of these little 11/0s. So there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll just do 10. Let's do 12. I want it to have a big break. So let's go ahead and do 12. So I'm gonna do 12 of those, then with one of these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep on going, and I'm gonna apply my 12, or string my 12 little 11-O's, okay? So I'm gonna apply my little, or string up my little 11-O's, add a 6-0 at the 12th seed bead, and then what I'm gonna do is I will come back when I get closer to applying the shells, but I'll show you what it's gonna look like just as a, so what I'm thinking of doing, what I think would be really cute is just to add the shells directly here and just stack them. I think I'm just gonna stack them because then they'll kind of fall into place a little bit. And then once we get the endings put on and get everything applied and have it to where everything is up against each other, I think it'll be really, really cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep on stringing until I get to the point where I'm gonna start adding these shells, and we'll come right back. Okay, so what I did was I kind of grabbed some from the pile here. And as you can see, there were little tiny ones. And so I started splitting them off. And what I did was I started off with, I found a smaller one and then graduated up. And then in the middle here, we have a larger one. And it was just random. I'm not sure how it's all going to turn out. But I'm going to go ahead and start stringing these and come back when I'm all done. Okay, so there we go. So there's the center. The center is gonna look just like this, and I love it. I really do love this mix. I have so many more projects to do using this mix, and I will keep you guys in the loop of all the projects that I do using these shells. You know, for not all of us that live near an area where you can just go and grab some shells, like our friends Joey and Wendy out in Florida, but you can get a taste of their world by having this mix. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off the pattern. Oh, I did want to point out, so I did 12 in between each of the seed beads, but when I got to the bottom here, I only did 6. So I did 6, and then I'll do 6 on this side, and then I'll continue going. And I'm going to go beyond the kink. I'm probably going to put the closure here at this kink. This kink is here, and if I had heavier beads, the kink wouldn't matter very much. But since I'm using seed beads, I am going to go ahead and peel that off, and I'll use it for something else. I can make a pendant or something with it. But I'm going to go ahead and just add 6. So I'm going to add 6 first. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my seed bead. Then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more segments, and then I'll see how long it is. And if it's too long, I'll just take out one of the segments here, and I'll let you guys know. But I am going to go ahead and finish stringing. I love that. That is so, so beautiful. And I'm thinking I'm not going to stop at a necklace using this kind of technique. I know I'm going to make a bracelet using the same thing as well. So go ahead and stick around, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're down to our last segment here. And so let me just add 12 more seed beads. Then we're going to bring in our standard crimping tool. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go 11 and 12. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this off. And you remember there was a little kink. You see how there's like a little kink right there? So I do want to just bring that down a little bit so that my, so that maybe that's where it's going through my wire guardian. We'll just see. But let's go ahead and put away these other supplies. And again, I didn't use, I mean, it looks like a lot, but I don't even put a dent into this tube of seed beads. All right. So let's go ahead and bring in my wire guard. Let's go ahead and grab a couple of, and these are 2x2 crimp tubes from Beadalon. I don't have them in the little tube they came in because I dropped it on the ground. I have wall-to-wall tile and they're little glass tubes shattered. Yes, I had little crimp tubes going everywhere. All right, so now let's go ahead and we are going to add our crimp tube. We're gonna grab one of our wire guardians. And what I love about the wire guardians, they have this like almost like a 2x2 crimp tube in there. They have a tube and then they have this little well or canal that you pass, and then you pass it through another tube like so. Then the wire sits inside that canal. So the only thing that's touching the metal components is the wire guardian, not actually the wire. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring this down, and I'm gonna bring it down a ways. And this will be the side that I put my lobster clasp on. And again, I have a smaller jump ring there, and then I have my lobster clasp, and then I have my closed jump ring, and my closed jump ring will go directly onto the wire on the other side. Now I don't have to worry about getting so close to my beads because this is just the one side. And see how it kind of kinked up a little bit? It does that when I pass it through the wire guard. If I have a long tail that I'm working with, like I am with this one. And I just am going to take, this is the standard crimpers. I've showed you magical crimpers that have the one well, and this has the two. So the first squeeze down that you do, you make almost like a moon or a taco, and then you round it off with the top well. There's two different wells in there. I'm going to take that top well because it's kind of rounded, and I just want to bring the ends of my wire guardian together. Is it a big deal? No, not a big deal at all. Okay, and I don't want my wires crossing, so I want to keep that all intact. I also do not want to put my crimper on top of those seed beads either because they will break. Then I go ahead and I give it that squeeze. And when I did that, it took one strand, the working strand, and put it on one side of the crimp tube, and then the tail piece of the strand and put it on the other side of the crimp tube. So now they're separated, and then we put it through the top well to close it off, and it ends up looking like that. Just beautiful. Then I just always take my fingernail and just do a tug test, and I pull to see if that comes apart. It does not. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my flush cutters and come in as close as I can to that crimp and give that a trim. And again, that's just because I just kind of overworked that piece. Now what I'm gonna do is bring that all the way down. And I do want it to be tight because I don't want anything in between my, my shells. So I want to kind of form them. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut off a tail here so that I can work with that. But I do want them in the shape that they're gonna be in, sort of, if that makes sense. And they don't have to go like every other, it's just how they fall into place. And that falls into place really well, just like that, okay? And again, I don't want it to be so stiff that it doesn't move, but it's not doing that on this one because you just, before I will crimp down, I will just make sure that I have some room. So I just kind of squeeze it a little bit, bring it down to the bottom, get that all nice and tight. And then I know that when I am crimping that it's okay. And then when I do this, of course, there's gonna be a little bit of gap, but when it's sitting on your neck, it's not gonna give you a gap. Okay, so I just kind of do that a little bit so it's not too tight and not too stiff, okay? So now we're gonna go ahead and take our crimp tube, okay? We're gonna take our wire guardian, put that on there. We're gonna bring our wire guardian, or our wire back through the other side of the wire guardian, okay? And just pull that through. And again, you're just gonna wanna make sure that your wire sits inside that little canal or well, whatever you wanna call it. Then let's go ahead and add our jump ring. So we're going to add our closed jump ring on this side. I attach it, I said earlier, but in case you missed the beginning part of the video, I just always attach the closed one to the lobster clasp so that I remember which one's closed. Some of these jump rings are so incredibly cut that you can't see where the slit is. And so I just always do that so that I know too. Okay, so then I'm just gonna bring that down nice and tight. And again, I'm gonna come in with my crimpers and just bring those two together. They don't stay together all the way, which that's fine, because it's just gonna depend on the wire guard that you have. And I'm just gonna pull that in and get that all nice and tight. And again, we have it bent. It's all bent up. So we know that there's some movement. I just need to make sure that when I put my crimper on here that I'm not going on top of that seed bead, and I'm not. My wires are separated. I give it a little bit of a squeeze, and then I come in with the top. And again, just take that extra second, make sure you're not on top of a seed bead, and give it that squeeze, and there you go. You'll see that the working strand is in that top section, and then the tail strand is in the second section. And then go ahead and give it the tug test, and if there's any movement, I would stop and start all over again. It does happen. All right, so now there we go there. Now what I need to do is just attach my lobster clasp over on this side. So let me grab my tools, just using some regular standard chain nose pliers. These are from Beadalon. I love them. They have a super small handle, but I still love them. They're really good. They hold on to the components really, really well. I had another pair that I thought I loved more than anything, but then the jump rings, as I started working with smaller jump rings and stuff, they would slip out and then they'd go flying. So I had to convert and find a different chain nose plier. Okay, so get that all nice and see what I mean? It gets in there so nicely that you just can't even see the slit. And there we go. There we have our beautiful beachy necklace using some of the shells from BB Craft. And as you can tell in my collection, I'm gonna have this collection for a really long time. And let me open it up. As you can tell, even after using these, it doesn't even look like I hardly used any. So again, this is an incredible, incredible little set to have, and I highly recommend you go and check it out. If you have this set already, then hopefully I've inspired you to make some goodies using this set. Be sure to check out the link to BB Craft in my description. I'm also going to include my prior projects, the videos in the description as well, where I've used some other stones and made some really, really pretty bracelets. So be sure to check them out and give this video a huge thumbs up if you like it, and comment. I'd love to see what everybody has to say. I want to see if Joey caught on that I did a little shout out for her, and subscribe. I'm gonna go take a picture of this, get it posted, and until next time, have a good one.